the option. for all your lovely enthusiasm on.
There you go. We're hit the big leagues here, lads. We got a timer now.
What was that?
I saw the lads. I saw Shawnee from the Kerry Way. He was doing this as well. I was like, I want a bit of that. I was like, it's the exact same timer. He's using StreamYard, so I'm just going to click that button.
I can't. The Instagram Live option isn't available for me.
Okay. It looks like there is something up with that.
I felt like I was about to answer the final question of like, who wants to be a millionaire there?
So sorry to everyone that's watching right now. We just have a little bit of a technical issue. Pete, if you could just send me over that stream key on the channel there, and I will add that in. While everybody is waiting for that, we're going to be going through a bit of a demo of the app, and more specifically through the custom route planner. We put a poll up into our Facebook group, HiiKER, the Hiking Maps app. If you're not in it, go and join it. It's where all these discussions are going to be happening. And it won by a long shot of the one piece of functionality that people want to learn more about, want to learn maybe the beyond the basics. Like, I think a lot of people know how to use the route planner, but being able to use it beyond just like clicking around the map and drawing a line, there are way more things that you can do with the route planner itself, and then also coupling in with some of the other great functionality that we have on HiiKER. So thanks for that, Pete. I will post that in there now.
Dropped out, but hopefully my internet's not going weird.
Great. Okay, perfect. So that should be lining up there now, Pete, if you want to just check over on that side.
One moment. Great. The video. Live, audience, public. Next.
Here we go. No. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to get this live going.
Everybody watching, this is the first of many technical difficulties we will go through in this live stream. What did you say on a recent call, Paul? Don't work with kids or app development.
That's what I was adding to it. Yeah. So normally the saying goes, "Don't work with kids or animals when you're filming." And I do want to add to that don't work with AI as well while you're filming, because it will not do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And you proved that as well in another live broadcast to hundreds of people online. So it was well timed, but you had the excuse in there early, and that's the important thing. Are you having any joy there, Pete?
Still no go live option.
I'm seeing your screen there. Can you not just add to stage?
No, he's trying to get the Instagram live to go live.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll have to figure something out now.
Instagram is live here for me.
It's just it's not working over on the actual chat on Instagram itself. So
okay, look, I think we should proceed as is anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on Facebook anyway, so anybody who was originally they won't know this anyway. So we'll carry on. Look, we're going to go through this. We're talking about the custom route planner and all the other amazing features that you can use in conjunction with the custom route planner, like waypoints, with the premium maps as well. So Pete has actually got his phone all lined up, as you saw a little sneak preview of there. So Pete's going to go through a plan for a hike that we hopefully will go on.
That's the first task, is to figure out a hike. I want to hike a mountain that's higher than any mountain I've hiked before, and I think the highest mountain that I've hiked is Lugnaquilla, actually, which is kind of sad.
It's not a particularly humongous mountain, but it's a very challenging one to go up, because the weather on Lugnaquilla is always, and anybody who's watching this has done it before. Paul, you've been up it a couple of times as well. It's always bad. I think I've only ever been up.
Sorry to clarify. I've only been up once. That one time Pete was up was my first time up as well.
Was it?
Oh, was it? Okay.
Had a previously failed hike of Lugnaquilla, which is quite fitting. Myself and Emer tried to go up one time, and The weather it wasn't meant to be bad, but the weather, and honestly, I'd looked it up in advance, and planned it all. We got there. The weather was fairly atrocious. It probably could have got by if it was myself, but it certainly wasn't enjoyable weather, to say the least. Very foggy as well, so abandoned.
Yeah, I've gone up a few times, and a few times I have had to turn back. One in particular, I was with my partner, with Sharon, and it was early days in our relationship, and we went up in a blizzard. It was blue skies in the car park, and then we got about halfway up the mountain, and we literally had to turn back because it was just so bad. The wind and the snow was so bad. Anyway, enough about our things here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to share your screen here now. So this is on your phone here, Pete.
Yeah. This is just me poking around Lugnaquilla, but anywhere in particular that we should go and plan a route?
What about the Lake District?
Sure. Do you know much about the Lake District?
A little bit. Myself and Paul went there last year. Was it last year, Paul?
Yeah, it was. No, it was probably the year before. But oh my God, what an amazing place for hiking!
Southeast there, Pete.
Sorry, I'm in the Peak District there, am I?
No, you were in the Lake District. Sorry, no, north, down, and right.
Yes,
there you
go.
Yeah. Ambleside, which is the one I always find.
Oh, we got a recommendation of. Oh God, I would butcher the pronunciation. I'll leave that danger to Owen.
Helvellyn.
You're right at the mountain there, Owen. That's been recommended.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah. Okay. So plan a little route up there. Jump straight into it.
That's actually not a bad one because Lugnaquilla is what, 800 meters?
No, Lugnaquilla will be 900. It'd be similar though. But go ahead. Anyway, give it a go. Okay. Austin, right. You might give any relevant feedback on the low quality or high quality of his route.
Okay, well, I'm going to let the app do all the work for me here. So I'm going to start a planned route and go straight to Ambleside because that's apparently where you start, right? So I'm going to drop a marker right into Ambleside here, and then I'm going to give it the power to do its own thing. See where it brings us, right? So I'm going to zoom into Helvellyn, which just sounds like quite a I don't know.
Pete, sorry, could you just talk very briefly, and this is probably maybe oversimplifying for some people. How did you put those markers on the map?
Yeah. So going into that amount of detail. So hopefully when you open up the route planner on HiiKER, there will be a first instruction which will tell you to long tap where on your start point. So a long tap is like a 2-second tap, single second tap on the screen. You hold your thumb down on a screen and it'll drop the markers. So it just stops us from like plotting routes or markers where we don't want to, or we're just kind of tapping on the map. So we do encourage people to long tap.
Essentially, the way I always say is like where you want to place a marker, you press the screen with intention, and then you'll get your marker there. And I suppose the really big convenient thing that we have on HiiKER is we have this auto routing service, which is one. So again, I see James O'Brien there even mentioned in the comment there. Can you make so this is the snap option there. So where you can tap in one location, then go somewhere else, and then tap in another location there, and then it will automatically kind of create a hiking route between those places. So that is the snap functionality there. And just to give the contrast to that, Pete, if you want to disable snap there and then place another marker, and what you'll see is it'll, instead of kind of snapping between those sections there, it'll just draw a straight line, what I would refer to as kind of as the crow flies. So you see there, now that snap is disabled, where you'll see where it formerly said snap there in the top left-hand corner, now it just says line, and it kind of has the little magnet disabled symbol there. From that perspective, that's when snap is disabled, just drawing straight lines instead.
Yeah, exactly.
So the helpfulness of snap is it just kind of auto routes essentially.
Yeah, like we pull from a database of known hiking trails in order to snap our routes. And I have been chatting to a guy throughout the week who's kind of noticed some areas where there isn't actually coverage to snap to routes. So this is an option for areas that are not kind of within our database. and you want to plot a particular line, it'll still give you good elevation data. Just to show you the elevation data here. So the little green bar at the bottom, I think it's yellow on Android. So just to give people a heads up, we tap on the elevation profile. It's actually building you an elevation profile as you drop more points. So sorry, let me go back to undo. We go back to snap mode, create some routes down to the lovely lake here. And as you
you're
can
actually
see,
going right down to where Austin has said it would normally be the start point. So, but not either way. This is just Austin is being severely critical of your routing piece.
Well, it's going to get worse. I tell you that.
Well, not only that, but you have us on a bit of a monster hike here. I'm not going to lie. What we're starting is about 750 meters of elevation gain there, and
it's a leisurely stroll.
This is a very ambitious hike. Let's say.
I don't know. Just to point out another kind of feature that we're showing off here. So on the elevation profile, you can actually drag along the elevation profile to see different like locations of the terrifying uphill that's coming up for you at this point here, and then the lovely decline that's coming down here. So yeah, just if you want to see some of that in action, you can drag along.
And if we could get anyone who wants to vote that Pete is forced to climb this route here, please just put a little a tick mark into the chat there, so we know, and we will.
My legs and my lungs say no.
One thing as well, Pete, you might show is kind of adding in a point in the middle of the route. So adding a control or drag point into the middle of the route.
So let me just jump back here. So obviously, I suppose one thing to note, all of these kind of faint red lines are indicators of where we actually have trail coverage, which we have a lot in the Lake District here. So it's a great way to kind of, while you're planning, just to kind of see some of our known routes here. So obviously this is bringing us through this valley down here before it brings us up to but say we wanted to go to Great Rig or Fairfield, we can actually tap on a midpoint on the trail, if I can get in there somewhere. There we go. So I've created a midpoint there by long tapping on the actual route itself. So you can now see that there's the start point of A, now we have a midpoint of B, and then we have our end point of C. And I can drag that marker all the way up here, and that'll snap our route to a new path, essentially just kind of going where we want to go.
I don't think people can fully appreciate how tense this is for me as the iOS developer. When Pete does anything, I'm like, oh my God, please work, please.
Paul's absolutely sweating behind the camera there. Yeah. But yeah, it just gives good flexibility. I'm really going to push it now and try and like break it here. Maybe I won't. But maybe we actually big. So yeah, it worked really well. So we've decided now that we want to go even further. Well, it's probably maybe the same elevation, but we're just taking a little bit.
That's the route that yourself and myself did, Paul. We went up Fairfield.
Oh yeah. Yes.
From Ambleside.
God, it was
very from Ambleside. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, although we went up the other side first, and we came down that side. Oh, isn't that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Oh,
it was very foggy.
It was very cloudy at the top.
I met a man at the top that was using Google Maps to go on his hike.
Good Lord.
Was he converted to HiiKER?
I hope so. I left him.
Against his will.
I left him in the dust.
Yeah, God, it was an absolutely beautiful hike up there. We started in Ambleside as well. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. Just another piece of functionality, a quick one and a basic one. If you tap on a marker and hit delete, that's how you just get rid of a marker. So just a little indicator for that.
Pete, again, I know you were showing about the elevation profile here, but to give a bit more perspective, can you view this in 3D?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to go to next. So, do we want to check it out in 3D in a different map, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe put it in the satellite.
Pull up the satellite map, which is always very pretty in 3D mode. So I've activated my satellite layer. The top layers here are all free, and our bottom layers here are our national hiking and historical collections, which we'll show off a little bit later. But let me activate satellite and the 3D maps option down here, which you can see will bring us into this terrifying view of the challenge to come.
I can hear your calves crying.
Actually, that fog that's appearing there is incredibly apt for this. It was like
the mist, the very scary
the
mist
that's appearing there is literally like so reflective of the day myself and knowing like that.
Probably. But yeah,
that is class. I might say so myself.
That's pretty good. Yeah. So that's
as an unbiased person here, I will say that is amazing.
Now, Paul, how much is your how accurate is this 3D what's the word? The is there any exaggeration on this mountain?
Nope, there's no exaggeration on that as far as I understand. So that should be pretty give you a pretty lifelike perspective.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Look at this.
So yeah, I honestly, like, I'm so glad you've chosen the Lake District series, because it is just I think it's time you got to pull up even Harvey maps there. Honestly, I even love looking at some of the historical maps around there as well. Do you want to pull one up there, Pete?
Yes, Harvey maps are covered here. Sorry, let's go back into 3D and show Harvey maps in 3D. So yeah, it does bring a brand new level to it. Pardon the pun. But
also, we just got Paul jumping into the chat there. I know Paul's just back from the TMB. Paul helps me manage the Kerry Way, our very popular Kerry Way hiking group. So great to have you here, Paul. Cheers.
Thanks for joining, Paul.
The two Pauls running the Kerry Way group.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, look, there's not much else to say other than what's on screen for the 3D Harvey maps. They're just really incredible. Like,
they're beautiful. And they've got that hill shading in there as well. That kind of really adds to the 3D effect as well. So it's brilliant. And like one of the great things about this for 3D maps for the topo map, or for like our premium maps, is it gives people a bit more perspective on those topo lines, the contour lines. So if you're like, I know a lot of people who are watching this probably do know what this is, but for those that don't, like, contour lines obviously indicate the elevation change throughout a map, and this just gives you a lot more perspective of what that is. So when you turn it into 2D mode, you can see it, and like you can see the color changes and stuff like that. But when you put it into 3D mode, you can really see what that actually means. And like there over to the right of High Pike there, you can see the steepness, and that really comes alive when you turn it into 3D mode. So
these little eyelashes, I call them, they're like the danger points. They're like cliff faces.
Well, essentially almost like cliff edges there. Yeah. I wonder, Pete, could you give a bit more perspective on some more of the buttons there? So we went through snap at the top there, and obviously snap it'll auto route between areas. With snap turned off, it'll just draw a straight line as the crow flies between areas. What does undo, redo, and loop do?
Yeah, so obviously if we start to add a few more points here, so we're hitting B and C and D, anytime I make an action on the map in the planner, I can obviously undo that by tapping the undo button at the top, and then I can redo that by tapping the redo button. So it's a nice simple kind of step through process that will kind of has a good bit of memory in it as well. So if you feel that you've added a bunch of points that you want to just completely kind of go back on, you can kind of continue to tap the undo button, and it'll get you back to a point.
It's something that looks so incredibly simple, but honestly it's really, really powerful as you're planning out a route there, as it can just make life so much easier. You can make mistakes and go backwards, and you don't really need to concern yourself so much. And then what about the loop button, Pete? What does that do?
So the loop button, so let me create something a little bit more simple to kind of follow. So if I let me delete this
might
point.
Might be worth kind of hitting cancel, Pete, and kind of starting even fresh again.
Could be. I think we're all good here.
Paul's sweating.
So let's he is. So let's keep I'm trying to get a good visual of this rather than kind of plotting routes that are kind of difficult to I want to find a good loop.
We just have a quick comment there. Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. James O'Brien just asking, is out and back an option? So one thing I will say, James, is that the loop option will sometimes deliver you an out and back. If it is the most simplest way back to the kind of start, if you get me. But definitely something we do want to add there. I do suspect that we might add one or two buttons across that top, that there might be even like a scrollable list there. But But yeah, noted for sure, and definitely something we want to add.
Do you know what? I actually have a design already for that loop button to be a drop-down option, which will be out and back, loop, or reverse or something, I think.
It's a reverse route as well.
Yeah, a couple more options coming in there.
We have reverse on the web as well, just in case.
We do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And actually we have out and back on the web.
So Pete, you're going to demonstrate loop there.
Yeah, so just if you're planning a large route and you simply want the quickest way from the last point back to the first point, you can just tap on the loop button, and that will overlay your last point onto the just beside the first point there. So it'll finish the loop for you.
Leave a little gap to kind of make it easier to grab either one of them, but it'll essentially bring you right back to the start.
Yeah, in terms of an actual out and back, so let's kind of you can see there some of the routes are not snapping, but that's fine. So if we do a route like this, I'm presuming that the loop button will actually do an out and back here. So if we tap that,
essentially will. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, it's looped that little thing. It's going on the most effective or the most efficient way to get back down to the start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it can be really helpful sometimes, particularly for like routes up mountains and stuff like that, where there's like, a narrow number of paths coming up and down there. It'll just come right back. So it'll be very, very straightforward.
Yeah, for sure.
Pete, would you open up an existing curated route? And basically what we're trying to show off is the ability to take like a well-known route or one of our curated routes, and then you now have the ability to go in and make it your own, and you can edit it to whatever way you want. So you might go to Wansfell Pike from Ambleside.
Yeah, go for Wansfell Pike back at their piece.
This one.
You can open that up. Actually, myself, Paul did this very hike, and you decide, well, actually, I want to turn this into a 10K or 10-mile hike. So if you go to
so just the action buttons here on the trail overview page will allow you to scroll across and select the edit route button, which will essentially kind of copy the geodata into your planner. Oh, so this is already an out and back, is it?
Yeah,
that's already an out and back.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, just grab a question from Gary Dyson here. Is it easier to custom plot a route on the app as you're demonstrating, or to plot on the website? Gary, it's a really, really good point, Gary. Generally, I would say that I prefer plotting on the web. It's easier. You just get a little bit more precise control when you're plotting on the web. So I would say for me, I'd probably plot more often on the app, just because I might think of something spontaneously and want to create it quickly there. But if I'm kind of like planning something like, a big trip, I'll generally be doing that on the web there, because it just kind of gives you a little bit more fine-grained controls.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We can show the web on this. I have it all set up and everything to do a little bit of a demo, but the screen, obviously the size that we're demoing here doesn't look great, but we can definitely jump on it. There are like just having a bigger screen in general and planning, like looking at a map and setting points and doing all the edits and stuff like that is obviously, it's just easier, I think, in general. But when you're out on the go and you want to kind of quickly plan a hike for the weekend, or someone sends you a route that you want to change, it's just so handy to be able to do this on your phone.
Yeah, for sure.
So, sorry, Pete, you're opening up an existing route.
I was. So yeah, I demoed how to kind of bring that route into your planner. So I want to move on to something else now, which is just the usage, how I use waypoints when I'm planning routes. So I did have a little area that I was kind of set up here to climb the Cairn Gorm.
So maybe while you're doing that, Pete, just an explanation on waypoints, just if people don't know what they are. I'm sure, again, a lot of people probably have heard of the term waypoints. But waypoints are essentially like points on the map that you will set to indicate. It could be a water source, it could be a town, it could be a pub, it could be a place to stop and have your lunch. It literally could be a place where you will change direction. But it's basically your own way of making note on the map of something. So people use it for campsites, they use it for just a cafe or a place to take a photograph.
Exactly. It can be used in all sorts of different purposes as different areas. So as you can see, I've picked a kind of a start point here, which is this Badegwish, in my best Scottish accent, the outdoor centre, which actually has a campsite in it. So I'm just going to drop a waypoint here, which is done through the little location icon with the plus on it opens up our waypoint menu, and you can see a bunch of different options here. The one in particular that I selected was add new waypoint, which dropped a waypoint directly on the mid cursor of where I have my little cursor there in the center of the screen. So it dropped a restaurant for me, so I can tap on that and I can edit the details of it. I can select waypoint types. I can give it a name. In this case, it's a campground. And I'm going to call it, instead of custom waypoint, I'm going to call it camp. I'm going to save that, and then it's going to update, and it's going to be there for me just to have as a reference point. Yeah. Obviously, there's tons of other things you can go and see along the route. I know that there's like a restaurant up here or something like that.
One item I think that's worth mentioning there is this is where I find that the combination of the coordinates bar at the top, and this might be a bit more advanced for some people, but you will see across the top of the map there, we've got a coordinates bar where you've got several different coordinates. Pete's kind of gone away from it.
I'm running through some stuff.
There's a coordinates bar across there, and you can see your latitude, your longitude, the distance from your location is that third value there, and the fourth value is your elevation there. So again, it's something again that I find really, really helpful is to, if you want to set a specific point or coordinate, somebody might, for example, provide you with like a grid reference that you want to mark there. Well, then you can use that coordinates bar to go right to that location, add a waypoint there, and it's a really, really handy way. That's a way that I often use it myself.
So just a question in there from Paul. So after creating map, can you go into 3D mode? I have a route, but don't see the options. I think you did show it before, but I don't see it. So Pete, I think you were literally just in 3D mode there a second ago in the middle of your route. So save the route first of all, and then we'll go back into it and have a look. But yeah, all you need to do is open up the route again. Once it syncs, let's give it a second.
Load. 3, 2, 1. All good. So we're back in the route.
Open the map
here.
Just tap on your maps and then activate 3D.
Yep.
There you go. So I hope that answers the question there, Paul. And you can activate all your waypoints and stuff like that as well. So hope that answers your question, Paul.
Yeah. So yes, any other things we can talk about for the planner?
I guess like the waypoints is another thing about waypoints is, like, say for instance you're planning this hike now, and we give it a name. So I think you gave it a name of like the Cairngorm hike. You can also group your waypoints as well. So say for instance that you have campsites for this hike. You can go into your waypoint and you can edit it and you can put it into a group, and you can say like campsites for this hike. You should see the list of the groups that I have. I've got like 100 different groups from doing all this, but you can add it to a group there, give it a name, and then when you want to see all your all those specific waypoints on the map at one time. So if you go back out to go into your waypoints again, and then view waypoint groups, campsites, and then go.
So right there,
so they're all in one spot. So you can give them like specific names. So it's like night 1, night 2, night 3, night 4, or resupply town 1, or best coffee on the Appalachian Trail, something along those lines. And you can just have like your personal itinerary for that entire trail all in one group, rather than having to sift through like all your waypoints that are across the entire map. You can literally just click a button and it goes straight to that waypoint.
Yeah. But I suppose we could almost do a full other session on waypoints, but it's a bit of a hint there, and just I suppose how helpful they can be in the context of the planner.
Mm-hmm. and we probably will do another session on waypoints. There's probably some more kind of use cases that we can do. But yeah, hopefully that kind of covers a lot about the planner. We do have obviously our support site and oh, actually, do you know what? An interesting test for this is so obviously if you're on the call, they will definitely put the SHITs up, Paul. If you have been on our calls recently, we've just released a big new feature, which is HiiKER Trail GPT, which is an AI hiking guide that can assist you with all of our kind of trails and kind of answer lots of questions about the trail. So I've just planned a route. Not fully sure where in the Cairngorms I am. I am at Cairngorm. I'm at some campsite. I don't even know it's in Highland, Scotland. So I'm going to start to ask it some questions. What could I ask it?
Get your questions in.
You know what? I think it's can you give me a bit of a packing list for this hike?
Yeah. What should I pack? Should I pack for this hike? Okay. Give it a moment. So I suppose where this might interest people is that it's not just our curated trails that you can access this system from. Yeah. You can plan your own routes. It'll pick up the location, the geometries, all of the information about that local area, plus the elevation and the distance, and give you actual feedback based on that as well. So, okay, what's it telling us? For the Cairngorm route in Aviemore, it's important to pack wisely. That's very good. So layered clothing, moisture wicking base layers, very good. Sturdy hiking boots, probably a good idea, climbing that kind of mountain. Backpack, navigation tools, HiiKER, I suppose. Yeah, GPS device. And optionals. Okay, interesting. Not too interesting, but good, solid advice.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Trekking poles. Did you actually force the
I forced that to force my trekking pole agenda on everyone else. I have forced that. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, I think we've probably captured most of it at that point in time. I know we didn't want to keep people for too much
longer. No, don't try to escape from this now. We're asking a question.
What's the weather like?
Oh no, you can ask whatever question you wish. I am not putting any restrictions on the questions you can ask.
Okay.
Oh, how about the smidge? That's a good question from Brandon there. The midgies. What are the midgies like on this trail? That's a good question for a Scottish trail.
Let's see. Just the weather. Okay, on the weather, it's expected to be
gorgeous.
Wow, that's amazing. Beautiful.
Wow.
0 precipitation and a nice breeze at 20 degrees. That could be the perfect hiking weather. Pretty amazing how different it is though at the peak, right? Well, that's near the end of the trail, is it? Interesting. So it does change. Yeah, the peak, the end of the trail is actually the peak in this plan. So
yeah, that's one of the things that we need to figure out is the kind of the judgment of where the peak is in the actual trail itself or the route itself. I did notice some kind of issues with that, but yeah, we can definitely fix that.
It's nailed it there. How should I phrase this question? What are they actually called?
So you can phrase it in any which way, but you know what can I expect from, or what are midgies like on this trail?
Midgies, is midgies the right word? Let's ask it. What are midges like on this trail? Now this is really pushing the technology. If it gets this end call, drop mic, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Had a question
I suspect
in there.
It's pretty bad, certainly this time of year. And if you're on a day with low wind,
no way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How does it know what midges are?
If everybody is not immediately signing up for HiiKER Pro right now, then I don't know what else we can do. So what more can we? Yeah. But
it's a pity we're giving this away for free.
Sorry, just from Brendan there. So yes, it's pulling in weather data from a partner organization of ours called Open Meteo. Open Meteo in and of itself gathers data from, I think, more than 50 meteorological organizations around the world. I don't have that exact list of them, but that's something, even jump into the support chat, they are more than happy to provide it to you. But yeah, we've definitely found it to be quite reliable.
Pretty much. I haven't seen it go wrong much yet. Sometimes it can give you kind of general answers for the area, but for the most part, it's spot on. So yeah.
We have a question there from Willie Thornton. Will HiiKER give compass directions of a route you have created? So I guess like we do, like the map itself does have a compass on the page itself. So actually, I'll just clear that question so you can see it.
Yeah. So you can see that.
If you rotate the map, but I think most importantly, when you tap on your own location, first of all, it'll zoom to your location. And when you tap again, Willie, it will actually show you a compass icon. And what you will see is as you rotate the device actually follows the location that you're pointing, just like a compass. So just to clarify there, it is the button in the bottom left-hand corner there with like a little cross here in the kind of black surroundings there. When you tap that the first time, it'll zoom to your location. When you tap it a second time, it'll turn the entire map into a compass. So I hope that helps.
I would demonstrate, but I don't want to show everybody exactly where I live.
Yeah, Pete doesn't want to dox himself right now.
Yeah.
We had another question back there from Nolene Dowling that we missed. Sorry, Nolene. Any suggestions for an out and back route without using loop? So
yeah,
like I guess when you're trying to create an out and back and you tap loop, it could just create a big loop. So you want it to be an out and back. What's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, let me go and edit the route here. Sorry, edit plan trail. So I can bring the if I now this again, it's something that we do want to address, and it's something that has come up because if you get too close to the route back when you're adding a new marker, it'll literally just add an intermediate marker, which is not what.
That's it. But that is one of the things. If you tap a little bit off the line there,
yes,
it will then do it. But also keep in mind in that situation, the loop button will resolve that. But I will say, Nolene, this is something that we're going to be adding very imminently. There, it's not a big task on our part to add an out and back button, so you'll just be able to press that. But Pete's doing the exact right thing there. If you tap off route, and you can just drag that marker kind of back on top of your route there, is currently the easiest way to achieve that.
So let's bring this all the way back here, and then we can check out our elevation profile, and we see that we've got our kind of out and back there, which is
it's a fair point that Pete mentions there. That you're right. Sometimes it can kind of take you on a slightly longer route. So it's a fair point, and that's why again we do need to add an out and back button very, very soon for sure.
Yeah, just means Brian. Sometimes when you press the loop to create an out and back, it might bring you on a long loop. Exactly. Yeah, it's one of these things we need to address. The lads were saying there that we're going to add in an actual out and back button. So yeah, that'll be coming down the line.
I suppose always if you do create a loop that's kind of too big for what you want, you can always kind of pick any of or create intermediate points at certain places along the line, and then you can just adjust it to be tighter or shorter or whatever.
So a question in there from Jim Broman. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. How soon will the application tell you if you are off route or trail? So Jim, that's actually not something that we have right now, but that is something that the guys are actually working on at the moment. So Paul, if you want to jump in there.
To give more context, the code actually is in there at the moment, but we're just kind of in a testing phase of that. So it's something we want to get right because it's something when done wrong can become very annoying. If there's one thing I've realized in developing HiiKER is that the wrong notifications at the wrong time can really be very frustrating for people.
Oh, so annoying.
So it's something that we just really want to get right. So again, I would say that if you are on iOS or Android, pop a message into our customer support there because we are always looking for people to join our beta. With the beta version, you'll get what I think I would fairly describe as slightly less reliable versions of the app that have more cutting edge features. So if that is something that you want to try out, you want to try and get access to these features a bit sooner, for our pro users, we do allow them to jump onto our beta versions. So pop a message into the customer support there and we'll surely get you onto that.
Hugon, how are you, Hugon? What is the function of the crosshairs at the center of the screen?
So I can take that again if you guys don't mind. But the function of that, honestly, I'm so glad you mentioned it, because that was one of the hardest features in developing. We're making HiiKER there that sometimes I feel like people don't appreciate. It's got 4 values on it there. The first value is the latitude of the very center point of the crosshair. The second value is the longitude. If you go into your settings there, you can change that to be a grid reference there, either a UK grid reference or an Irish grid reference, or many different grid references from around the world there. The second value, the third value you'll see there, it says 17.8 kilometers a moment. That's the distance from your current location. And the last value there is the elevation at that very center coordinate. So honestly, it can be really, really helpful, particularly if you're somebody who loves using grid references, to have that like fully dynamic value as you scroll around the map there. It'll give you the live grid reference from that point, or latitude and longitude from that point, or whatever you want to configure it to. It'll show you that there. So, and again, one thing that's very helpful is when you are adding a new waypoint, it will be added exactly at that point at the center of those crosshairs. So it can be really, really helpful. Particularly as you get a bit more kind of advanced in your hiking there, it's something that will be very, very helpful for you. And again, if somebody says to you, "Oh, hey, I found an amazing kind of like aircraft wreckage at a certain grid reference there," on HiiKER, you can just go into your options there, tap on Go to Locations. It'll bring you exactly to that grid reference there, and you'll see it on your coordinates bar at the top.
One of the things that we didn't cover there was setting the hike date and time. So when you create, if you might kind of quickly go through that. When you create a route, a planned route, you can also, when you save it, you can you can obviously give it a description, you can give it some photographs, but you can set the hike date and time. And that actually will set a reminder. So we'll actually send you a reminder. I think it's the day before and the day of, I believe, as well, push notification just to remind you to download your maps. And also, we didn't cover downloading maps either. So just to remind you to make sure that you have everything set and everything's all good to go. It's a nice one to have as well, just to remind you that you're going on a hike that day or the next day, and you can change it. But it's just useful to have. Two of the other parts as well that we have there. One is printing maps. So when you have a Pro Plus subscription with HiiKER, you can also print off your custom route maps. So when you tap on that button and you have a Pro Plus subscription, it will generate a PDF of that route on a PDF that you can print, and you can print it at home.
Again, a feature that I don't think enough people use. It's something that's super, super helpful and valuable. With a single tap, that you get a printable map on PDF.
Yeah, absolutely. Question in there from Elizabeth McKenna. Will you guys be repeating this lesson again? Missed it from the beginning. No worries, Elizabeth. This will all be uploaded to YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it afterwards. I blindly clicked on that. I had no idea what I was going to say. That could have said anything.
Sorry to jump in. I do have to jump off right now, but you guys keep moving on there. I'm sorry to leave you, but you keep going.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine.
We're going to wrap up very soon. Here's a question in there from Cheers, Paul. A question in from James O'Brien there. Can I print on east-west maps? Unfortunately, no is just the straightforward answer to that. That is not something that we currently provide. We don't have a license for that. We only have license for the digital versions of the map at the moment. So unfortunately, that's just the answer to the question. We don't have that at the moment. But keep your ears and eyes peeled as we are continuing to work on that.
We're fighting for it.
Don't say that. Another thing as well that I did mention in like the kind of the promotion of this was that when you create, if you have a Garmin account or another smartwatch, we're limited in what we have. We have Apple, Google, and Garmin. We do have Strava as well, but when it comes to smart devices, if you have a Garmin device and you create a route in HiiKER, it automatically syncs to your Garmin Connect account, which should be obviously really useful. You can have the route then on your watch, and you can follow GPX file for any runners or trail runners that are out there. It's always really handy to have the route on your watch as well as on your phone. Obviously, when you open up your phone, you have the really good 3D beautiful maps and topo maps that you have on the phone. But if you just want to keep your phone in your pocket and have the Garmin device or your device of choice, you can obviously have that there too. And if you don't have a Garmin device, you can always export a GPX file and send it on to whatever smartwatch that you have instead. I think that kind of covers anything. If anybody has any other questions, throw them into the channel now. We'll try and answer them before we wrap up. If you didn't get a chance to answer a question, Paul mentioned there, Chorus is popular. Yeah, see that Chorus is actually taking off quite a bit in Ireland and the UK at the moment. But yeah, if you haven't had a chance to ask your question in this, please feel free to jump into the app. You can ask us a question through support, or post a comment on this video when it does go up on YouTube or onto Facebook, and we can directly answer the question there. We do have another question from Gary. You mentioned downloading the map. So Pete, do you want to just run through a quick demo of downloading a map from a planned route?
Sure thing. So I've just opened up my profile into my planned routes list. I'm going to go to the route that I just created. And then there's a big, large download button here, which I can choose from this area. I'm going to download the standard map for this. So I can just tap the little yellow down arrow icon, which will start the process in that. And then we're pretty much good to go. We can obviously double up and download some of our other map layers as well. But if I open this, we should be able to see that it's actually bordered off the route itself into a bounded off the route, as we call it. And within all of the area within, crush. That's the first mistake. First thing that's gone wrong. So yes, as you can see, the areas within the bounds of that that dashed line will be all available offline. So no need to access the offline map or try and find the offline map. Anywhere on the HiiKER app that you locate that area. So if I go to the main map page, let me get out of 3D maps here. I'll go right up back to that location that we had, if I can find it, which was up here.
I'd be very impressed now if you were able to find that.
Well, that's tricky. Do you know what I did? I did.
One of the common misconceptions is that you go, there is the ability to go into your settings, into your profile, into your settings, and then look. Oh, there you go, found it. Right. Is that you go to your profile, into your settings, and then manage offline downloads, and then you can see the maps that you've downloaded in there. But that's not where you access your maps. The maps are literally just there. It's one of the ones that people kind of go, what? It's just there. When you download it, it's just there. But as Pete pointed out there, it has this orange perforated boundary box on the map, and that will apply. So if you downloaded the Hiking Plus layer or the national layer, the same thing will show. If you switch to national now, there, Pete, you'll notice that the box has disappeared because you don't have that map downloaded. But if you were to download it, obviously it would show up. So
now, just in terms of downloading, I suppose we're going into next tutorials, which we probably will go into it on different weeks. But you can download areas of map as well, so you don't need to download a map from the overview page. You don't need to download a route specifically. You can jump into the map, into any map, open up the Maps tab, and then tap this down arrow. Which should allow me to open up. And now we're starting to get into dangerous screen sharing territory.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Something has broken. Let me give that a quick refresh.
So gonna get rid of that for a second. We're gonna hide the maps for a sec.
We're gonna cut that out for a sec. So yeah, once you activate a map and then tap the download icon, it'll actually allow you to zoom to an area that you want to download in a rectangle. So I can focus in on this Glenmore Forest area. then I can confirm this downloaded area, and it will go ahead and do its thing and then download that section for offline use. And now we have this area available to us as well.
Yeah, that's actually James O'Brien just mentioned there, should download a map area a bit bigger. So yeah, like when we set the bounds for the map, it's like from the furthest north tip, or basically the end of each end of the trail is set as the bounds for the box for the offline map. But you can always go back in and you can download a bigger map if you should choose to. But it's a good bit of feedback there, Pete, though, like that we could actually look at having a bigger area. Maybe we did consider that before, but something we can think about.
Yeah, it's something that other apps do is allow you to download kind of regions and things like that. But we kind of like the flexibility of kind of choosing your own area. So yeah.
So sorry, Willie just mentioned there again about printing. So we went through that there a second ago, but we might just go quickly through it. On any planned route overview page, you just open up the route there, and there's a button there for printing, and that downloads a PDF, and you just print that on your printer at home or wherever you get access to a printer, and it just prints on normal A4 sheet paper. It's a PDF, so you can print it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, it'll just give you the PDF file straight away.
Great. Okay, I think that kind of covers it, Pete.
It's an hour or so,
yeah, it's just about an hour. So yeah, hopefully people found that really useful. I will quickly kind of just show you the web planner. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but as you can see there, it's pretty much identical to the mobile planner. It's just obviously much more space. There's a lot more space to move around on. We have loop routes, reverse routes, undo, redo, snap to trail. Everything is pretty much the exact same. There's just a little bit more detail. So we won't go into this right now because we could sit here all day and like have fun with maps and explore around. And there are a couple of differences, but we might save that for another day. So feel free to jump into the website, just have a look at the planner, because I do prefer planning on the web because it's just a bigger screen, but the mobile planner is super useful. Okay, Pete, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for guiding us through the hikes that you're gonna go on now. they're booked in. Yeah. As I said, any other questions, please feel free to throw them into the comments on the video when it goes live, or jump into the sport in the app. It's always ourselves, myself, Paul, or Pete, that are answering those questions. So we're here to help. That's it, guys. Sure. All right. Cheers, Pete.
Thanks for joining us. Join the Facebook group.
Oh, join the Facebook group. Once more. Join the Facebook group. Yeah, join the Facebook group. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.